Okay, so so in agile, right? So agile, it's an iterative and incremental process. So what's an agile? It's an iterative and incremental process. Okay, so in agile you have many other submodules. Okay, agile is pretty broad level, pretty high level. It's a framework. Okay, agile is of course it's a framework, but it has various submodules. Okay, let's see here. So we have a lot of here. You have see this. This is Scrum, and you also have RAD, Rapid Application Development. Okay, then you have XP, that is Extreme Programming. Okay, then we also have Kanban. So if you say someone like what we are working in agile, so that doesn't say the complete information, because in agile you have Scrum, you have Kanban, Extreme Programming. Okay, so there are a lot of submodules. Okay, it's up to the project, up to the company, like how they want to work on it. So Scrum is more of a ceremonial kind of view, and a lot of people gather. So if you know this Scrum, that would be enough. So the remaining others like Extreme Programming, mostly in Kanban process. If you have, if you know the Scrum, Kanban is similar. Okay, it's not same because you don't have a lot of meetings there. There's no kind of lot of things, but it's a similar process. Okay, so if you know Scrum, then you can say that you have other um, other framework like Kanban. You see here Kanban. Kanban is also similar to Scrum. Okay, and what I know is RAD2, Rapid Application Development, and XP, that is Extreme Programming. So there's a lot of submodules for this agile. So we'll discuss about the Scrum, specifically, because if you know Scrum, remaining all are similar, not same. I won't say same because there are some other things, there are other things to be followed, but similar process remains similar. Okay, if you know Scrum is overall, and it is more, it's used in more places. Okay, okay. So let's start with this. So we'll start with. So we'll start with terminology. Okay, what are the terminology we have is in agile. Okay, so here workflow. Okay, good. Here let's start from roles. Okay, let's start from roles here. So here there are a little bit difference here. Okay, there's something called product owner. So in waterfall method, so I keep saying this product owner previously, right? We talked about this product owner. Okay, this in waterfall methodology, you have business analyst. Same guy here in Agile, you call as product owner. Okay, there's no business analyst in Agile. There's nothing called business analyst. There's product owner. So the same guy. I mean, it's the same guy, but a different responsibilities. You need to know the responsibilities here. Okay, it's a different than in what you used to have in waterfall. His responsibilities are a little bit different. Not same. Okay, you don't expect the same thing because here is agile is a fast moving process. Today is today you have in the code in the dev team. By today, but yeah, almost by today it will be in test environment, and you start testing. By 1 week it's in production. So it's that fast, not like waterfall. Previously, waterfall 6 months project, 1 month you have to wait for requirement, second month you have to wait for development, third month for testing. No, no more that lagging kind of thing, right? Here, today you have testing, next week done, production. Okay, so it's that fast. So that's the reason the responsibilities are also, it's pretty much different. Okay, so you have to move pretty fast, and by end of day you need to say what you have done by today. Okay, so that's the product owner. It's a business analyst in waterfall methodology, and is called product owner here. Okay, I would recommend to go through this responsibilities a little bit, because in most of the companies, as far as my experience goes, nobody knows their own responsibilities. Okay, so make sure you know it better than anyone. Okay, because if your boss asks, sometimes we'll go through it. So you'll have a good explanation to explain them. Okay, you know what? I'll give you some repeated source. You can verify it. You know what? This is something. Okay, so that will help you out when you're giving an explanation to your boss. Okay, this is very important. So make sure to go through these responsibilities. Okay, just try to understand it, what's the responsibility, so it will be helpful for you. So next you have development team. Okay, so next you have development team. Okay, developer. So developer, it's not necessary you might have some specific developer or overall developer. See, there are a lot of developers, right? You might have web developer, Java developer, Ajax developer, ETL developer, and so on, as per the requirement. But in your team, let's say you have 5 people of team, right? Let's say 5 people. One is a product owner, scrum master. Okay, product owner will be different. Scrum master, 3 developers, 1 tester. Okay, so that kind of, and 3 developer, one will be web developer, another will be ETL developer, and another will be another developer, right? So in that case, you might not have the same developer what you're looking for. So you need to reach out to a different team who has that. Let's say if you're looking for Java developer and Java developer is not in your team, then you need to look out for another team. Okay, you cannot, just because you don't have developer, you cannot say. You need to talk to your scrum master, and you need to reach out to another team so that you will get the developer. Okay, so that's the development team. Then you have a scrum master. Okay, scrum master, the project manager in waterfall methodology. Here you call it scrum master. There is no project manager in it. Okay, there's a scrum master. Okay, you don't call project manager, you call scrum master, because he or she is responsible, for making sure there are no impediments. Okay, so that's a scrum master, and scrum master is very useful. Okay, and let me tell you. Okay, this scrum, is here. You can go ahead to view this responsibilities. Okay, what happened, right? Once, so here is the thing. So nobody will be knowing better than you, anyone else, because see, these responsibilities are right here mentioned here. Okay, so you can go through it. I mean, it's not just Wikipedia. You can go any document. If you see the responsibilities, this will be similar responsibilities. Okay, if not same, responsibilities will be similar. Okay, so if you see here, there is no tester here. See this? So you know what? They're trying to remove the tester from the team. Okay, in Agile, they want to remove the testers and put the developers, but you know what? That's not going to happen. That's really not going to happen. Okay, you know why? Because let's say your boss, your boss says to you right away. Let's say you are, interview. When you are in interview, your boss says, no, we are not looking for any testers because development are doing the testing process. Okay, so you need to say that testing cannot be done without the testers. Testers has to be there. Why? Because developer, even if the developer does testing, it does with a business perspective, business point of view. Okay, he look the code, he look the business code, business rules, and the transformation logic or whatever the information is there. He's looking at a business point of view, not as a user point of view. And whenever the tester tests the applications or something or any other testing activities, it's done by the user point of view. Okay, because user point of view is important, right? Whenever you're seeing an application, because at the end of the day, who is using the application? It's a user, general people, not business. Business is not varied, right? So that's the reason you cannot remove testing team completely. Although they are just not mentioning here because they want to remove it, but really that's really not feasible, because if you're removing testers, And if you find any issues, by people, then it will be more expensive. More expensive, because if you are finding issues in the later stage, it will be more expensive than the earlier stage. Okay, you'll be spending a lot of money. Company will be spending a lot of money on. So that's the reason we really cannot remove testing here. Okay, so these are the few roles here. And Scrum Master, make sure you understand that. Let me give an example. So whenever you found an issue, let's say you found an issue, right? So far we were discussing about so many issues. You really opened some defect, okay? And your lead was okay, yeah, it's a defect, and your lead says okay, that's good. Now you assign to the developer, right? Now developer doesn't respond. You send an email, it's been 3 days, okay? It's been 1 week, and you send 2-3 emails and never responded. Um, and you went to the you talk to the developer saying that, hey, you know what, this is the issue, and developer says, no, I don't have time for your defect. I have production issues, we are working from past 2 weeks, we have to work on that, and I don't have time for you. Okay, that's fine. So developer doesn't have work, they don't care your issues, that's fine. Now who you supposed to reach out is Scrum Master. Okay, not manager, you're not your boss, no one else. Because here you see this. Let's see here. Here you see this responsibility here, helping the Scrum team to avoid and remove impediments from its progress, whether it's internal or external. This is the thing where you need to see here. Okay, so this is the job responsibility of Scrum Master. So what happened, right? This is the real-time example actually. What happened? I know what, I opened a bug. Okay, and I reach out to developer saying that, hey, in 1 week, it has been 1 week and developer doesn't respond. Just keep on saying, I don't have time, so that's okay, that's fine. It is, it's understandable. So just, reach out to Scrum Master saying that, hey, whenever you're free, can you help me out this, okay? And what happened, right? Suddenly my boss calls and says, why did you, reach out to Scrum Master? It's a defect. Why are you giving defect to Scrum Master? Now you understand this whole point, right? So they're not educated. So they, of course, obviously, boss, they're not, they don't have technical knowledge, neither they know. But, I responded to them saying that, what, based on my knowledge, based on my experience, Scrum Master is a bridge between the testers and developers. Okay, now after saying that, nobody says anything, right? Well, if you want, you can reach out to responsibilities of Scrum Master. You can see anywhere. It's not supposed to be a Wikipedia or somewhere else. You reach out to any document which says the responsibility. Maybe you could be a certified Scrum Master. You must still know what is the responsibilities. Okay. So that is the most important thing, to remove impediments from its progress. So that's the impediment that's hampering the whole project, not just 1 or 2 guys, right? It's hampering the whole project. So that's the reason Scrum Master is responsible. I will say email and CC everyone and check it out. Can you have, whenever you are free, can you, fix this issue? Okay, that's how it has to go. Okay. So, remember, if you have any issues, obviously that issues will not be, solved. You need to reach out to Scrum Master to, expedite that issue. Okay. So that's the use of, these roles. Okay. So that's the roles: product owner, development team, and Scrum Master. Your boss may not, most of the time will not be helpful. Okay. They're not looking to help you out. They're looking for the project. Is the project is going good or not? That's the main theme of them. And to make sure, you need to reach out, and Scrum Master will be helpful for you, because they are, someone else will be coordinating. If they don't know, they might also don't know the responsibility. Then you have to show them like outright, explaining that this is your responsibility. This is how you have supposed to work. Okay, because most of them don't know their own responsibilities. I've seen some Fortune 50 companies, Fortune 100 companies, they don't know their own responsibilities. So make sure, if they don't know, you educate them. Okay, so that's the important thing. So these are the, roles. Let's go here. Okay, so let's talk about these artifacts. Okay. So here there is something called product backlog. Okay, there's a product backlog. So product backlog is set of requirements. Okay, but I would say this is a very high level requirement. So it's a high level requirement, as high level as a one line statement in an Excel sheet. So they prepare all this in Excel sheet, product backlog, and it could be just one line, no matter just one line statement. Okay, it's called product backlog. Okay, it's not necessary it has to be technical information. The product, just giving you product backlog documents to you and tell you to start testing, that doesn't happen that way. That's really not the appropriate way to do it, because product backlog doesn't contain, most of the time doesn't contain any technical information. Okay, here it says some of this. Okay, it might contain some project it doesn't. Okay, because it contains most of the, it's a story kind of, they write some story and you might not understand until the end, right? So it kind of it's a high level document, high level requirement document. Okay, for example, right, let's say since we are comfortable with this, it could be like document product backlog for this application. It's a design GM online. Okay, so that we don't know how many pages it requires, how many buttons it requires, how many test pages it has to go. What the products we are selling on has no technical information whatsoever. That can be a product backlog. Okay, now design GMO online, even developer doesn't understand, but developer knows what we have to do, because they know how the application flow and what are the Java they require, objects and all those things. So they are pretty much comfortable with that. But as a tester perspective, we don't know. So it is an application. Is it a front end application? Is it a back end application? Or is it something else? We don't know until we know what is the user story. Okay, so that's the product backlog. It's a high level requirement. Okay, it's a high level requirement. Let's go to here. Let's see sprint backlog. Sprint, but before sprint backlog, right, there is something called sprint. Sprint is time boxed unit. That means sprint can be 1 week to 30 days. Okay, let's, for the convenience, will take us 30 days. That's 1 month. So every month new sprint. Let's be. It's not necessary it has to be every month, but let's be a little bit for ease of understanding. Okay, so sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4, sprint 5. That means 5 months. 5 different releases. That's fine. Every month one release. So that's a sprint. Now backlog. So any backlog which contains in that sprint is called sprint backlog. Okay. Now backlog is, again, we have seen here, right? Product backlog is kind of requirement. So backlog is actually the requirement. Okay. So that's a sprint backlog. So let's see here. Let's try to understand this. Okay, so you have product backlog. That's you set this box 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, each, let's say it's pretty high level requirement. Each box has, let's say, 4 sprint. That means each block has to go is 4 different. That means 4 months. Each box 4 months. That means 4 to 12, 4 to 16. So 16-month project. Okay, I mean it's not necessary that way. I'm just trying to explain you for the much more for the ease of convenience. Okay, it's not necessary this has to be taken as a one block. Okay, so this one block, 4 sprints. Okay, every month new sprint. Okay, each sprint is divided into 30 days. Okay, you have 30 days to complete one sprint. Okay, now after 30 days, you release the product. So this is the simple version to understand difference between backlog, sprint, and sprint backlog. Okay, and this is actually the process of Agile, Scrum. This is more process of Scrum actually. Okay, and here, if you see here, so you didn't see any user stories here, right? So product backlog is divided into, so this is large chunk of work. Okay, product backlog is a chunk of work. Now you need to divide into sprint. That means which is a priority user story has to go into which sprint. Okay, so that's what you divide in sprint backlog. And then in sprint backlog, you have user story. Let's say each sprint backlog you have 10 user stories. Okay, and each user story, says some, information about the particular application, particular page. Now, user story is the technical information. Okay, so I hope everybody knows user story, right? So let's show you people who don't know user story. So we have written a lot of test cases. We always write test cases, right? Test cases and defects. So it's based on the user stories. You see this? So this is what in the user story is. Okay, so you go here and you see here. So this is the user story. So I hope everyone has gone through. Right. User stories. User stories is is designed by the product owner. Okay, product owner has to look at it and they have to see what the requirement is, and based on that they start writing user stories. Okay, so it's completely different world for product owner, not for testers, not for testers. Testers really, yes, user stories are requirements, and they are they jot down, business product owner jot down the requirements. So what's the requirement, and based on that they create the user stories. Okay, so that's the user story. Okay, so here, so that's a product backlog and sprint backlog, and then you have charts. So charts we already discussed, right? We have reports. In the reports in Rally. So Rally is pretty good. I mean, it designs chart for you automatically. You don't have to plot anything, by going manually or something. Rally does it for you. The moment you update your user story, the moment you update all your test cases, automatically design a graph for you just like this. Okay, so this is the burn down chart. Okay, you don't have, so traditionally the way it was done, okay, they used to have some plotter, they plot this and they have to print out all this and put it the stick onto the walls, but it's really not required at this time, because Rally does it for you, and you don't really require any tool. I mean, you don't require any printer or something, or you don't even have to, because you're saving the efficiency, right? If you, because all this work, if you're doing all this, printing out on this, putting it, sticking on this walls, that requires a lot of work, and Scrum Master cannot work on this, because it's a job of Scrum Master, but cannot work on this because Scrum Master has other job to do, right? So that's the reason in Rally, this graph automatically gets plotted for you. You don't have to do manually anymore. Okay, so this is burn down chart. There's so many charts: burn down, burn up charts, iteration, a lot of things. So here, this burn down chart is plotted. It's the number of days, how many days you worked, and the remaining effort. So how many hours, in hours, 250 hours, how much you are working on. So this green line shows the ideal burn down. That means you have completed. There's many user stories. Let's say 10 user stories, you have completed this. This is an ideal green color, but that doesn't work that way, right? Because ideally, sometimes you might some issue might show up, or there's a coordination issue, a lot of things. So that's the reason this chart is ups and downs. You see this blue color, dark blue color, it's ups and downs, because it's really not always the like green color. It's really, because when you start testing, you'll find so many issues. Okay, so that's the reason the blue color is ups and downs. That's because you might spend some time which was not predicted, which was not happen. Never know what the issue shows up, and that issue was a different issue, and it took time to coordinate with other teams. So a lot of time gets used up, right? So that's the reason there is some, that's the reason you don't get the perfect line. Okay, so that's a burn down chart. And then you also have other also burn up chart. Okay, so this is the total number of iterations, how many iterations you have performed, and the how many story points you have performed. Okay, so this is the burn up chart. Okay, similar like this, you have many other charts. People. Let's go back here. So it's just not one or two charts. There are plenty to see here. No, you just go to reports. Okay, so here you see this lot of charts: burn down, burn up, iteration burn up, velocity, and iteration defects by priority, and so on. Story burn up, story. So here you're not plotting anything. You are just you complete once you complete your work, complete your testing and everything. This graph just shows right away plots for you. Okay, here you don't see this one. We'll see only defects is active. So we'll just see the defects thing. Iteration defects by so this should work. Um, no, this is okay. This is good. Okay, so this shows see, so not the iteration part, right? Let's see here. Okay, so if you see here, this is plotted for you, right? This is a chart. Okay, this is story burn down chart. Okay, this is plotted for you, and this gets automatically plotted, so you no more require any other tool, or you don't have to do manually or something. So that's the reason Rally is good for Agile. So whenever you are working in Agile, Rally is very good because everything it does it for you. Okay, so that's the so similar way there are other velocity. We discussed about this velocity chart, and then since Agile is evolving process, new things keep coming. Sprite and Preservable. Okay, we can go through it and see if it's but it's not. But mostly it's not used, but you can view it and you can try to understand what is it. So any questions so far? So this is about artifacts. Okay, so let's go to um, workflow. Let's see, workflow here. Okay. So you will be having a lot of, if you're in Scrum, then you'll be having a lot of meetings. Okay. You need to go a lot of meetings. Okay. So let's start with sprint planning. So this is something called sprint planning, where when every release a new sprint starts, a new sprint, right? Every month is a new sprint. Okay, sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4, right? Every month the starting of the month, first week of the month, you have a new sprint. Okay, so what you have to do in every first week of sprint, every first week of month, you have this sprint planning session. That means you want to see which user story is going to which sprint. So that means you want to see which priority of the user stories. There will be a priority of user stories, right? And which has to go in. Sometimes user stories which are not priority goes next sprint. Okay, and some issues, sometimes there's an issue. You open some impediments, defects. We call defects in um, waterfall model. Here you call as impediments. Okay, impediments. It can be defect, it can be coordination issue, it can be any other issue. Okay, that's called impediments. So any impediments which are not fixed in that release has to be fixed in this release. So that's you decide all this thing in the sprint planning. And the timing is, it will be mostly after your daily scrum meeting. They'll have some plan like 10 to 2. Okay, so they'll make sure that you don't have lunch. Okay, it will be like 3 to 4 hours. It will take mostly takes complete whole day, because they will see, okay, which sprint, okay, which user story has to go and which user story is not to go. Okay, a lot of things. So a lot of people attend. That is development team, Scrum Master. Scrum Master organizes this sprint planning. Not tester, not developer, Scrum Master, and product owner. All these people come into. But your boss, manager, is not invited in sprint planning. So nothing to do with manager, right? It's nothing to do with any manager. But they are technical. Sometimes dev managers, those guys are handling different projects and different, so many things are happening. So that guy maybe can attend this meeting. If they are handling a lot of technical things and working on a lot of different projects. So those guys can be attend for sprint planning. Otherwise, no. Only development team, Scrum Master, and product owner are invited into this thing. Okay, and what they discuss, okay, so here's the thing, they will discuss, so they'll have this voting kind of thing, right? Here you have this voting kind of thing. So that means, let's say one user story, we have this user story. Now they'll say this user story has to go, Scrum Master says how many days you require this. The developer will be having more knowledge, so they'll say 5. That means if they say that 5, that means 3 days for development, 2 days for testing. They also include for testing. They will not say individually, right? I mean, most of the time that will be just a scenario. Okay, this is one kind of scenario. So now what happens now? Scrum Master says, no, we don't have 5 days time for this user story. This is very simple. Just make it, 2. Now 2 days is really not required. And developer says that if somebody else is there, let's say dev lead says that no, really we require this 5 days because coordination issue, and we need to talk to a lot of other people because this is not done before, and there's a lot of Java development has to be done. So we cannot have this 2 days of time. Then Scrum Master will agree. Okay, 5 days. That means 3 days for testing. 3 days for development, 2 days for testing. Okay, so obviously, as a tester, you might not talk well here because you really don't know what's happening to the project, because this is driven by more of a development people. They'll be having more idea because they know what's going on with the application, what's happening. But as a tester, you don't know what's happening to the application. Okay, so that's about the sprint planning. Okay, and there is one more called sprint grooming session, which is not here. And they will also have one more session similar to sprint planning. And if something which is not done, which is incomplete, or something which has to go, and they also take one more meeting, that sprint grooming session. It's not here, but they can also have one more meeting. So this is about sprint planning. Next, go to the daily scrum. So now daily scrum is again a meeting. Okay. Now, sprint planning starts every first week of the month, and daily scrum is irrespective of any day. Once the project gets started, you are into the system, then you will be having daily scrum. Okay, what you discuss in daily scrum, so this will be not more than 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, it doesn't go, if you're doing this for 30 minutes, 1 hour, then you're doing something wrong. You don't go more than 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, 15 to 20 minutes is the max. Okay. And see this, it's time to 15 minutes. Okay, and what do you discuss here? What do you discuss in this daily scrum? You talk about what have you done yesterday, what have you done today, and what are you going to do today, and what are you going to do tomorrow, and what are the impediments that is stopping you. There's 4 important things. Okay, so what you have done yesterday, and what are you going to do today, and what are you going to do tomorrow, and what are the impediments that is stopping you to do work. This is the 4 major things that you discuss. Okay, and impediment. So impediment we call defect, right? Here we call as impediment. It can be a general term. It can be anything. It's a risk. It's an issue, or delays. You might have delay because somebody else team member is not responding to it. You need to reach out to their manager, talk to them, say, what, this is a priority issue. This has to go this, you need to. So that's a delayed in assumption, so some assumption which is really not correct, and now you have to do overall again from scratch. So all these are called as impediments. Okay, so this is the impediment you face once you start your testing. So that's the daily scrum. Okay, so 2 meetings for so far: sprint planning, okay, and daily scrum. Okay, sprint grooming, of course, you can just it's not really in all of them, but if you have one, so it will be similar to sprint planning session. Okay, now let's go to the another meeting here: sprint review and retrospective meeting. Okay, now this is the end of the sprint. Sprint review and retrospective is the end of the sprint. That means it's supposed to be, as an ideally, it should supposed to be at the end of the month. It's in week of the month. That's the review and retrospective meeting should be there. Okay. So now what you discuss in this meeting, so in this you will be discussing what went good, what didn't go good, and how can we improve that. 3 important things. What went good in this meeting, so that means it was very good, and you really liked before, what we had before sprint, and this really is good. And the second one is what didn't go good, because previously it was some things were really good. Now we don't have user stories, we don't have documents, we don't have these features, we don't have resources. Those all is not good, right? So how can we improve? If that doesn't go well, how can we improve? So all this is discussed in sprint review and retrospective meetings. Okay, and all these meetings are organized by Scrum Master. Not you, not developer, not tester. Scrum Master is responsible to organize all these meetings. Any questions so far? So, I mean, this is let's complete this. Let's. Okay, so this is about Scrum. Okay, so this is we'll talk about this too. This is a traditional way of doing it. Okay, and we'll also see the new process. Okay, so this is Scrum. If you know the Scrum, you might you might be understanding with the other also. Kanban. There's one more called Kanban. This is similar to Scrum. And Kanban doesn't have all these kind of meetings, but they do have few of the meetings which you need to attend. Okay, and the remaining things remain same. I'm not saying similar. Okay, the way they do is a little bit different. Okay, but it's similar to Scrum. The process, the framework is similar. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. This is the traditional way of representing the Scrum. Now, if you have daily meeting, you have daily Scrum, right? In there, you discuss all these things you're supposed to discuss. So here you have 5 columns here, but it doesn't have to be 5 columns, but here you have 5 columns. User stories, you have, that means that's what we have, this user stories. You see this, this is a similar thing, but here you are doing it online. Okay, so there's the user stories. And to do is you have how much work to do. Let's say we discussed in this meeting that 5 days, each task 5 days. Okay, you put the number that 5, and each day passes, you cross that number, how much work you have done, cross that 5 and put it 4. 4 days, no, it's 2.5 days. I worked only half of that, remaining half I was working in different user story. That's what you organize it. So normally a sticky note, you put a sticky note and put it here. It's a blue color developer, pink color testers, something like that. and you put it here and in progress. Okay, so whenever the work moves, first developer has to move the work, right? Not the tester. You cannot start testing before the development is completed, right? So the first sticky notes, whoever moves it is from developer. So they move from to do to in progress. Once in progress, they complete it, and then they say, okay, hey, start testing. This is done. Okay, so that's how that's how it works. Okay, you have to move sticky notes from from one place to another in progress testing, and it's pretends it moves to the next column. Okay, so this is how um, Scrum works. Okay, this is the traditional way of doing the Scrum. But let's see here. So here you don't require any sticky notes, right? This is the online classroom, and it's very good. You don't require any more boards. You don't require sticky notes, paper, a lot of printers, plotting all those graphs. Now that's really not good, because if you are using the traditional method, you are consuming a lot of resources. Not just resources, you are utilizing the time and you are decreasing the efficiency of that. Okay, you are decreasing the efficiency of Scrum Master and all the people. Okay, so now if you are doing all this on online, now nobody requires any board or something, right? You can just view it online. So even if somebody audit review or any CFO or the company wants to review it, they just give access to Rally. It's simple, and they'll figure it out which user story it is and which one they are working on, right? It's that simple. We don't have to come to the desk of each and every and looking into it. Okay, what story have you done? That's no more required, right? It's traditional way, it's not necessary. So let's see here, how can we use this? So task, just like similar, if you move this task to do in progress and testing, that's how the task is. You see this? Move to define. Once you use this, it's in define. To move, once you start your testing, it's in progress and it's completed. So this is how you can compare to this traditional way. To do in progress, completed your testing. Okay, and this is the time. Let's say you have defined some time. Let's say here it's in hours, 10 hours, but it required more time for you. 11 hours you need to specify here. It took too much. It took more time. So that's the reason of having this task. Because if you are putting this task, you can decide. You can put your state is the, not the state but also your time. Okay, how much time you are utilizing to each task. Based on that, your boss will be allocating work for you. So that's more important. Okay, so this is the traditional way of doing, and this is a better way, an efficient way to do this the same thing. Okay, and you know what? Let me also show you. Um, let's see here. I hope I have this password. So this is much more better here. Let's see here. I'll just quickly show you. You can also move your your task like user story. You have a tool for this. So, like for example, TFS. So TFS, right? It's a team foundation server, and it's from Microsoft, and it is also a test management tool. So let's see here. We have this. So it's actually, yeah, it's for complete team. Okay, let's check it out and see here how we can. So Rally, does good for Scrum, but if you are working in Kanban process or any other methodology, then you can use TFS is good for Kanban process. This is my file. So Okay, good. So go to this project. Okay, this is. So we'll go to pretty quick here to. Okay, what? Let's go to the board status. We'll go to the board. Okay, great. So here, as an example of this, let's say this board thing, right? You can move your sticky note from one place to another. Similar way, you can do that. Somebody designed this really good. So let's say this is a task. Okay, this is a task. This is a bug. Okay, this is a bug. Okay, this is a task. Okay, so here, let's move. See, if I have a task, I want to move to the active position. So what I can do is drag this guy, put it here, and that means it's active. And the moment I put this graph, all changes here. Here it's not showing here properly because it's really not done properly. So otherwise, this graph automatically changes. And once you put it active, you can put it in closed. Now you cannot drag this in result, so that's common sense, right? It's not a bug to get result. Only bugs get result, not task. Task is nothing to do with resolution, right? So once the task is completed, you put it in closed. That's why that task you can move it to right there. Okay. A similar way, what you are doing here in this, taking the sticky note, putting into progress and putting in testing and completion, right? That's what you're doing here. So let's try it. And let's say bug. You open a bug. Of course, bug can be from new. Of course, obviously, when you open this bug is new. You would put it in active status. That means it's active. You assign the developer, and developer has to work on it. Okay. Now, once you move that from active to resolve. Now, bugs are resolved, right? Bugs are resolved. So that's why you can move your bug to this resolution column. Okay. Now once it's resolved, you want to close it because it's good. Close this. So once you close this, obviously all these tasks which were here, also moves to close status. I mean, once you completed your testing, you can close your task to here. Okay, this is how the Kanban process actually works. So we'll discuss more about it in the last class. And somebody also required some access for this TFS, right? Some people wanted this TFS. So people who are interested can reach out to me. Okay, I can create a brand new subdomain like this, and I'll give you access to it because Microsoft the Microsoft has a really very complicated issue for giving the username. They're not really accepting that. They said they want all the separate username and password. So that's really convoluted way of doing that work. So anyone who wants it can create their own TFS account. Okay.
Sir, we should send you the request in the email.
No, if you want, you can look. I need to have call because I will call. Or you can send me a phone number. I can call you, and we can work on that because it requires. I think that requires your email ID verification. So that's the important thing. So once it gets resolved, then we can work on that.
Sure.
Okay. Or maybe I'll see if I can prepare a document for this so that we will have the good idea.
Sure.
Okay, so this is the Kanban process, and let's see here. So this is just a board. You can see as a backlog item. Let's say if you see as a backlog item, the similar things you can change it right from here. Not necessary you have to go to the board and change it. You can move right from here. Okay, so this is about TFS. Any questions so far? So this is about agile. Okay, again, agile is, what is an agile? It's an iterative and incremental process. Okay, it has various modules. It has Scrum, it has Kanban, extreme programming. Okay, and so on. Okay, there might be more, many more. If you see here, we know only XP, that is extreme programming, and Scrum, this is Scrum. What is a Scrum? Scrum is framework for iterative and incremental process. It's a framework for agile, and then we have this Kanban. You see this Kanban, your Kanban. If you know the Scrum, you almost know the three models. Okay, one is XP, Kanban, and Scrum. You know Scrum, you know there's two other things too. Okay, and it's just like if you know SDLC, you know remaining on, right? Spirals, and spiral is also derivative of SDLC. From SDLC it has all derived, right? Waterfall, spiral, and what we have discussed, right? Helical and so on. If you know one thing, the all remaining are similar to it. Okay, it's not same. The process is a little bit different, but the components remain same, right? In methodology, in waterfall methodology, components remain same. But the way of doing the work is little different. So similarly, in this agile too, if you know Scrum, remaining two or three will be similar. Okay. Okay, today we have some defects, right? So some pending homework. Any homework today? People have done. Let's check pretty quick homework. Okay, good. Yeah, few people have done some homework. It's good. So that's what, right? Whenever you're doing, you need to put the screenshot. It's more important. And let's see. So this is good because last time previously the whole user story, somebody deleted the whole user story. So it's good. You guys didn't delete any user story. That's good. I'm happy for that. So because last time a lot of people had a hard time because they were trying to do homework and somebody removed the user story. So you have to make sure that you don't do this, okay? Because if you are going into corporate environment and if you are doing such kind of things, they will take some serious action on this, okay? I also told them, they also did for second time. I think they also done for third time. So I stopped saying to them, okay? So it's you have to be very careful. Once you go to the corporate environment, you cannot delete anyone's work, right? User story specifically is not your job. You really have nothing to do with user story. You need to just look into it. Just try to see what's they're trying to tell. Most in some cases they don't even have access. You need to check it out with product owner and talk to them and say how it is. Okay. So and deleting that is taken as more seriously. Okay. So don't delete anyone's work. Some few people have some, it's nothing to do with Mac. If you are using Mac, try Safari. Safari has some issues, I think. If you have Safari, try with Chrome. So Chrome you have for Mac, right? Just try to download that. I think you should have in App Store, right? You try to see with Chrome, okay? If you're not working on the Chrome, try with Safari. Okay, it's not working for Chrome, try with Safari. If not, try with Firefox. If you are still having issues, just get a team viewer. Okay, let's get a team viewer. I'll try to see if I can fix anything, because it might be a small issue, some ad blocker, something like this simple ad blocker thing which is stopping you, or some small thing might happen that is hampering your work to do. So have to check it out and see what's actually the issue is. So for that reason, try different browser. If it doesn't work in any of the browser, you can call me. You can send me an email so you can set up some time and see if you can fix anything. Okay, because sometimes yes, some ad blocker thing, right? Because of that ad blocker, you're not getting the extra step, or some pop-up window is blocked. Okay, because this requires pop-up window, right? Whenever you try to open something, pop-up window shows up. So you need to make sure the pop-up window is unblocked. So then only that's the reason some people face. Okay, so this is good. So these kind of user-friendly issues, right? You need to first check it out and then open this issue. Okay, because these user-friendly issues are a little bit different. You need to check it out with the lead. The lead says, yeah, this is the issue. We have this issue from past so many days. Then you have to open the issue. Okay, you cannot open the issue just because you found it. Okay, only few things that you can open issue by yourself. For example, when you're opening your issues, for example, you found the issue something like this. Something you're trying to put some number and hitting enter, then you're getting this error. So this is what you need to open these issues. Check with your lead saying that, hey, you know what, I'm getting this. Anyway, you have to check with your lead. Without checking with your peers, you cannot move forward. If you're moving forward, they'll come back to you. So what is the reason behind why didn't you tell this before? They'll come up with the questions, right? Why didn't you tell this before? Just before, if you told, they would have solved that without opening issue, right? So that's the thing. You need to always check with your lead. If your lead is not available, if you have good rapport with developers, check with the developers. Check with the product owner if they are good. If you're helping you out, it's good. Next, if it's not possible, then check it out with Scrum Master, some Master. And anyone who doesn't help, Scrum Master should help you out. Why? Because this is the responsibility, right? So that's what right? So you have to make sure someone else will help you out with this issue. Yeah, I have also given one more, right? So you have time, pretty good time, because 23rd and 24th is holiday, right? 23rd and 24th is holiday. 23rd is Thanksgiving, 24th is day after Thanksgiving. It's an holiday. So you have 4 days, 1, 2, 3, 4. We finish this by 28th. Supposed to be finished by 24th because we have holidays. So you can do well if you have not done this, okay? And it's actually for your practice. There's one more application that you want to test it. Just try to test it and come up. You also have user stories. I will put that user story for that too. So this is the user story, and some people have already done good. Okay, good. Some people have already written. So that's good. Yeah, it's for your practice. Okay, if you practice it, you'll be doing it better. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, this is a major important thing, right? Whenever you're using some retail business, if you're in retail business, especially in Amazon, eBay, and all those are retail business, right? Now, whenever you're using this, most of these companies are using HTTPS. So it doesn't matter, it has to be Amazon, it has to be eBay, or it has to be Google. Almost every company, whenever you're doing online transaction, it has to be in HTTPS. You cannot do any transaction on HTTP. That's a simple common sense. So that's common sense. You don't have to be some hi-fi QA guy or hi-fi some guy to know this, you need some requirement for this. It doesn't really require any document. It's common sense, right? When you're not using HTTPS, if you're using only HTTP, then it's a lot of information can be hacked. These days, even if you're using HTTPS, the information is hacked in large number. So this defect is pretty reasonable defect for me. Okay, we need to although you need to check it out with the lead, and you want to make sure you're doing right. But this is a pretty reasonable defect. If you are opening such kind of defect, this is good. It just you need just require common sense most of the time. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, somebody people have come. People who have not done it can do this. So maybe I'll be giving you one more homework by today. So let's see, because we have 4 days, right? So you might have some. It's good. My defect is really good. You need to open. So this is how this has so many issues, but normally you might not have these many issues at application. But of course, your job is to open defect, so you need to open defect. So that's good. Yeah, if you have some people who want to complete it, can do it. Okay, so you have time till Monday. That's 27. That's not sacred. 27. Yeah. Yes, you can use that holidays, and and it's really doesn't require that much time. But yeah, it's good for you. You also need some time because you need to understand, right? First thing is to need to understand. Nobody can go just first time look at application. Yeah, you find a defect. It doesn't happen. Of course, this we can use this time to understanding it, and you know the 4 days is not for doing your homework for 4 days. 4 days is trying to understand what you're trying to do and what the homework is all about. Okay, that's the you need to think about it and you need to do it. Okay, it's not for the work is almost just less than an hour, just hour, just for documenting that it takes just 1 hour. But the 4 days is trying to understand what is the application is all about, what you are trying to do, and what's the homework is all about. Okay, that's the thing you need to understand. Okay. Okay. Any more questions? Because the more the reason you have, right, because I know this doesn't get in 1 day, 1 2 days. The QA is really not getting. I mean, it requires time, of course, experience. We have to come up with experience. This time, if you utilize it properly, trying to understand what is there, and take some time. Don't have to be just go through it every day or something like this. You need to go through it regularly. Some spend just 20 minutes, 30 minutes of time trying to understand it. 4 days, that should be good. you know um, so that you will be getting more idea on QA. Okay, if no questions, can we close this class for today? So tomorrow we'll discuss about, see here, tomorrow we'll discuss. Yeah, tomorrow we'll go through Jira actually. So I'll be giving you access to the Jira too. Okay, so that is another test management tool. Okay, so far we have Rally, and we'll also give about this Jira, and same time we'll talk about this SharePoint, that's Confluence. Okay, that's yeah, that's right. So Jira. Okay, we'll just talk about Jira pretty quick and see if you have any questions. Okay, so if no one has any questions, can we close this class? Okay, good. Yeah, thank you guys.